Okay, here we are live now. I'm just checking final things, whether everything's working. I guess I can turn that off. And also quickly going to share the stream on Discord. Still gotta do that. I'm almost fully prepared. Almost. Welcome first of all. Welcome to everyone who just joined in. And yeah, as you can see already, today is about PYS tournament, the qualification stage of the upcoming professional tournament. And yeah, we will have 4 of those qualifying tournaments. They will each last 3 days. And today is the second day of the second qualifying tournament, the PYS it is called, Prove Your Skill, in preparation of the pro season or the autumn season. I just ran out of battery on my keyboard. Now it's back. It's back. And I tried switching some other batteries in and they were empty. So I guess I have to hope that the last remaining 10% will do it and charge them afterwards. Okay. Good. Stream is shared. First people are on the stream already. Let's get into the game as well. As I do not know which teams I'm going to follow today, yeah, it is hard for me to say, like, or to do any predictions. I guess it won't be like, it won't be the toughest, the closest games today. It depends on what kind of group we will get. But it is the qualification stage, second day. So I think it will be like average teams, pro teams, and we will probably follow some pro team. We will probably follow some pro team. But Wargaming has apparently stopped to announce what kind of teams to follow. Okay, I do not have the invite yet. But the invite will be out in a second. Okay. Let's check some final things. Also really important, I have to turn on the ventilation system of my laptop manually to keep it from overheating and dropping frames. Also, I can still plug in the iPad, so we do also have an additional OBS window here, so I can just check everything on the iPad, not having to drop into the game. See that on my laptop then anymore. We're going to see Raid today. That's very nice. Very nice to see that. As you can see here, Raid versus Zenit. Zenit, definitely a decent clan that has mostly played, I think, top 16 level. But Raid also on the previous seasons could not perform in order to get into the top 8. They struggled a little bit. Partially, probably also because of seeding and difficulties about that. But also they struggled to keep up with the top level clans on the previous seasons. Now we can see some old roster again. Those players here have played for the Twister 2017, 2018 already and have won that tournament. Falcon is new. Messi also there. Naro also new player. Yeah, OG also still quite new. I was playing with Raid for some time as well. I'm interested to see how they could improve since then. Well, our first map is going to be Hellas. Let's ready up first of all. What tank am I actually on? What tank am I on? I'm on T22. You know what? I will just go for a heavy because I try to remind myself of doing that, because quite often we've seen that the spectator actually drops into the game with known tank, and that tank disappears. And if you are on a medium tank, then some heavy might spawn on the medium flank. Especially on Middleburg, we've seen that quite often, and teams were quite annoyed about that. So I try to keep an eye on that. Okay, Hellas is our first map. Hellas, yeah, mostly like played for the medium side as well as most other maps actually, and we're probably going to see some middle spot passive holding of the corner side, of the corner of the A side there. Oh, it's the C side, it's the medium side. And later on, often we are seeing some rotations by 1-2 tanks over the heavy side. The heavy side does have these two kennels there, which, yeah, holding these caps there is quite easy, but pushing through them often leaves you in a very bad situation or position, as you do not have any high ground, and enemies might just shoot into those kennels from above, and yeah, it might really become a little bit tricky for you if you are stuck there. I've had that a couple of times when playing tournaments also. If you are down there, you might get double caps even, but then you are stuck and give up all the map control, which is way better on the medium flank, which is like often the case. Okay, 1 minute left, and we are seeing some lineups already. It's not going to be the 268 for Zenit, but on the side of Raid, we're not only seeing M6s, which I'm quite happy to see, although the M6s really dominate the meta at the moment. And yeah, autoloaders in general are insanely strong right now because of their clipping potential. They are so good for the pushers, also with the recent nerf of the IS-4 mouse. Yeah, those tanks, they suffered on their hit point advantage. Also, the E5 got nerfed heavily. Those tanks were really the meta before. All of these OP tanks got nerfed. Only slightly, but now the autoloaders do have about the same amount of hit points. And therefore, going into a push with a full clip is really quite helpful. And we're getting into the game. We do have triple M6, WZ113, Kranwagen, VK90, and a Vickers for Raid. While we are having an E100 for Zenit here. Also an E50M, IS-7 Kranwagen, and triple M6. That's actually quite a diverse lineup here. Not really the kind of autoloader spam that we've seen quite often on recent tournaments. But yeah, the season is only just getting started, so let's see what the meta is going to bring us. Raid mostly heading towards the seaside here. Vickers is going for a quick spot, and there is a Kranwagen set up for decapping A and B. On the other side, we do... How do I actually get the mouse out? Okay, on the other side here, we do also have someone responsible for the B decap or A decap. Actually, IS-7 just pushed through, did not even bother about taking the cap, just getting the spots in here. Naro already spotted. And the IS-7 is well covered by the M6 in the back here. But Raid, on the other hand, although having lost some hit points already, is now able to advance quite a lot here because Zenit is set up just very passively here. And I don't know about those kind of positions. The Kranwagen is definitely well equipped with a strong turret, yet the E50 and the M6 might just get spammed with heat, and with a a lot of crossfire here with all those raid guys line up, rolling in for a push. Also, some guys still shooting in from the side. These three guys from Zenit are definitely trapped and under a lot of pressure here. And they have to make sure that they do somehow get out alive, which E50M is already not capable of doing. The other Yos coming in for the help, but it might be a little bit too late. Hit points still pretty much neck and neck. Raid only having about 600 hit points more. And Zenit doing a good job of punishing the push here. Yet the focus fire is way better on the side of Raid here. Zenit already lost 2 tanks. Raid now the first one. But yeah. The gun advantage definitely paying off for Raid here. Now the hit point advantage also increasing. And the Yos here trying to go for a push, but getting caught in the open, getting caught on the crossing here by Raid, who has just put themselves into comfortable positions to farm the corner here and farm the Zenit team. As mentioned already, when heading towards the heavy side, you often put yourself in huge trouble. And lots of crossfire options are there. Tentacles, the last one on the field, and there he goes. Strong performance here by Raid already. A really strong performance. Just bringing home the first win comfortably. 10k damage shot on the side of Zenit. That's not too bad, yet there is a huge gap to Raid. Although the hit point or damage difference was not too big for the most part of the game. It only started to build up in the end after the first guns were taken out. Just because Raid did a good job of hit point sharing, only sending in the strongest or healthiest tank, while pulling back their weaker tanks, while Zenit, on the other hand, just had these 3 very isolated tanks that got caught in the crossfire. They did not have anywhere to escape anymore. It will be Hellas again, yet with a quick swapping off the spawns here. Raid going for the symmetrical, or for the same lineup as the last time, I guess. Yep, Raid has done this for quite a long time actually, to always pick the same stuff. And in the end, in the pro season, they will try to get more creative. Zenit here going for a very interesting lineup with triple E50M, triple AMX 50B, and a T57 as well. T57, a rarely seen choice in nowadays tournaments. Yeah, T57. I don't remember seeing this tank on the EU server the last time. Must have been years ago. Let's see what we are going to see here. Okay, the 50Bs wanted to get streamed and wanted to get followed here. They are going aggressively into the heavy side. Will find Naro there, but Naro is covered by the bush. He will find the AMXs first. Avoiding the caps here. It's still not discovered, and now they are covered here. Finding Naro and possibly able to clip him out in no time. The Raid team on the other side, we are seeing this on the minimap. Raid team is moving in, but the first gun is out for free basically. 2 shots get into the crans, but the hit point difference, the hit point advantage is still on Raid side because of the lineup from the start on. And it will be the question now whether Zenit will find another chance like this, another option to find some isolated target to push onto and make use of their clippers and mobility. VK90 here with a drizzle, probably isolated. Oh, Invader gets caught in the open here, gets beaten to death. Nothing left of him anymore. I think he just drove into the rock, and the VK90 here getting focused. But still, Raid having a comfortable hit point advantage of about 2k hit points now. And moving in from behind, the AMX is on the reload, not having any armor to bounce off any shots. Unlike the Raid team with their 113 triple M6, those tanks will bounce at least some shots, and the 50Bs and the E50M, well, not so much, not so much. Raid Blue, the next one to go down, probably there he goes, but it is a 3v4 already for the Raid team, or for Zenit actually, and there goes the next one. This push started off quite well, yet quite a lot of E50Ms that were, yeah, not really having the hit points here to really yeah, be that helpful in the end game there. And only the 50B is left on the field, and there he goes as well. Well, it was a nice attempt. The 50B push was really done quite well, to admit that. The way they pushed in there, avoiding the caps and just getting into the corner where they could expect the Kranwagen to be for the decapping position. And yeah, it was working out quite well, but only until this point. If they had some more heavies, it would have maybe worked. If they ditched some of the E50Ms, I don't know if the E50s were really that helpful. If those tanks were, like, I don't know, if they were not that far in front, because Zenit kind of isolated themselves in that corner. They gave up all the map control for killing one tank, and then they were in this very close formation with, yeah, not really having a lot of armor nor hit points. They did have a tank advantage, but no hit points, no armor. And that's really got them there. Alright. Alright, the first round is over. The next one will start in about 20 minutes actually. So I can still have a look at the previous games real quick and yeah, just take a closer look at that. Although there's a little bit to analyze maybe still. And but otherwise, like today with the best of threes, we do have quite relaxed stream. Tomorrow we will have a best of 5, so there we will have a little bit more to analyze than between the games. And first of all, welcome to everyone who just joined in. I'm glad you are here. And yeah, let's go for an analysis of the previous games. Yeah, I will just open the stream again. I hope it's not playing immediately. Probably it is. Let's quickly stop that. And mute it. Good. Okay. Oh, where's my window now? There we go. Okay. Quickly scrolling a little bit back to find the start of the first games again. Yeah, Zenit here still really trying. I think on the next game they were already quite sure of not really being able to win this game and trying to just go for some unexpected YOLO push to find Raid's weak spot there and gain a quick advantage, because obviously Raid is a very strong team. Well, yeah, this is what we mostly see on... I cannot get rid of the... I can't get rid of the bound on at the bottom here, but I still want to show you something. Oops. I need this. On the mini-map here, if I am able to open it, yeah, there we go. On the mini-map here, that's what we are mostly seeing from Raid and many other clans, like having 1 or 2 tanks in the back here for decapping A. On the other side, this works as well from over here. Maybe even some tanks over there. Quite often they will be a bait behind this wall because it cannot get spotted. We do have a similar wall on the other side there, where sometimes we are seeing tanks that are just standing around unspotted and waiting for a possible push, someone capping the base, and they go out and try to clip. But yeah, they might also be out of the fight. Zenit here really committing hard to the push on the AB side, with 4 tanks already being here, and they could not really make them work. That was a problem here because Raid did obviously not go for the heavy side here, and therefore we had some very slow tanks, and this I7 went really far to the front. Zenit did not even have any caps, but still they had an aggressive position here, but the aggressive position did not pay off without anyone being there. I guess the plan was to just have everyone being ready to cover the I7, send the I7 in aggressively, and if there was some push coming into the I7, then Zenit would have really good positions to farm everyone that was pushing in there. But that was not working out that way. Raid just completely abandoned the heavy side, except for leaving 1 Kranwagen in the back, who got the spots in and would have been able to, I don't know if you would have even been able to decap A there, I don't think so, but there was also the Vickers on the side still. But yeah, now we are seeing already the huge problem of Zenit's tactic here. These 3 tanks, if there was anyone pushing behind, or yeah, Raid could literally just push behind, but they only needed to go for the middle while pushing with everyone from the front. Here, first of all, you're not completely hull down. You can hide a little bit in this position where the Kranwagen is, but if you're on the left or the right already, you will be in the open and you will get shot. So Raid was quite... They had some shots over the distance already, and they were quite safe to push in here with their big tank advantage. As soon as they knew that, well, the double M60s here that are camping to our right on the mini-map, you see this over here, those were unspotted for a very long time. But the others, of course, they were spotted. These 3 tanks seemed isolated. The only risk was that these double M60s were maybe over here in the corner in spawn and would just flank around if Raid was pushing in. This was like a risk to consider for Raid. I don't exactly know whether they had this in mind, but I would assume that, as they are good players. And yep, they could see that there was not much behind here. Could take out these guns for free basically, and this already won the game for Raid. We don't need to see the whole game. Yeah, here we are seeing the push. S1K suffering a little bit here, losing some hit points, but already we're seeing here the red line, some shots flying in from behind. And by that, Raid already gained the tank advantage and got into the comfortable position here of just farming down Zenit. Now if we pause again real quick, we're seeing 3 tanks of Raid over there and another 3 over here. First one just rushed into the middle, which was not the best idea to do because there were like other Zenit tanks around him and could all just crossfire there. But yeah, like this, Raid did have the high ground here with these positions on the hill. They had these hill positions and could just build up some really nice crossfire. And this was definitely deciding over the outcome of the game. So much about this one, because that is it about this game. Let's head over to the next one. Zenit here still thinking about going for a serious lineup before deciding to go for the meme strat. It was kind of a meme strat, to be honest. Luckily announcing me where to follow. And yeah, really like this, how the AMXs moved over here. They really took cover behind the walls. Every little bit of cover that they had, they took, and just took this very safe driving route to get straight in front of Naro there. Drizzle was still quite close at this point, but that changed soon. Okay. Yeah, Naro about to get focused heavily here. But here we are already seeing our problem. Big problem here. All the tanks of Zenit are in this close little corner. A tiny little corner. And Raid does have all the map. Of course, Raid is a little bit far away here. But of course they could theoretically take the cap, but it would take too much time. Because they need to help Naro and make sure that they farm a little bit, get in some damage before they lost the gun for free. But if Zenit had some tanks in the back still, maybe, like over here for example, and not only E50Ms and the slow T57, but maybe some other heavy tanks, then this push could have certainly worked out. Or not certainly, but maybe it could have worked out actually. Because like this, they gave up the map control. Imagine they had positions like this. Some very passive heavies over here, they could still crossfire into this area. If there was anyone in the middle, then they could crossfire. They could have some tanks like still on B taking the cap while the Kranwagen was pushed, because three AMXs should definitely be able to clip out one Kranwagen. But the whole team followed up here, as we can still see on the minimap. They all followed. The Kranwagen is already dead now. The E50M even bouncing the shot, but that's not important here. Yeah, they cleared one tank. Well, yeah, did they even lose any? They did not really lose any mentionable hit points here. The E50M now getting shot for the first time. Also quite unnecessary actually that he moved up there, because this is high ground. You can see it quite that well here. But this area is higher than this area. And also this area is also elevated. So if they just stayed low, this shot could have been avoided. The AMX will probably also get shot again. And they all keep crossing over to the corner, where they just isolate themselves and put themselves into a really bad position. Of course, they are getting crossfired from here, trying to get safe. Also, there is a medium alone already. And yeah, now the positioning is just... it could be optimized. Let's say it like this with very kind words. Like this. Yeah, they still have a closed formation, but the problem is like really they are so close to each other. They don't have any armor that everyone from the raid team can just farm them here. And also, like we can see now, Raid will take the same kind of formation around the Zenit team as on the last game. Drizzle a little bit isolated here, maybe a little bit too far in front. Was quite aggressive here with a push on the E50M and could not really get covered by his teammates that well. But he was able to retreat on time, and Zenit was too late with the rotation. Just imagine now if there were still some Zenit tanks in this area, Drizzle would not have survived this. And no one in the middle area. Also the Vickers here is free to farm all the time. Would have definitely not been possible if there were still some tanks at least in the back. Okay, I will quickly have a look into the game. Because the next invite, what time is it? Oh, we still have some minutes. We still have some minutes for further analysis. But yeah. I think at 31, so in about 10 minutes, the next game will start. In 5 minutes, we will get the room invite, and then we can already prepare and see what maps we are going to see and have a closer look at the strats that would be possible. Yep, big problem here for Zenit. Again, having all these tanks going for the one VK90, which is clearly not paying off here. They are just going from one corner into the next corner, giving up all the map control and allowing Raid to go for some very bad crossfire if we are seeing this again. Okay, there is still a blue tank, but like this, Raid does have Zenit in the pocket here. They are just all around the place, and the Zenit team in a very small position with Raid being all around, so Zenit does have nowhere to cover, nowhere to hide. And yeah, that is something that Zenit could have or should have considered here in order to win this. To not really YOLO with all their tanks. Maybe, of course, you cannot separate your tanks too far. Otherwise, you will have some, if you do have some very aggressive and some very passive tanks, of course, the aggressive tanks or the passive tanks might get pushed onto. And it will also lead to a defeat, as you are not able to support your teammates the way you should. And yeah, that's the main thing. Like, if your team is too separated, like we've seen on Raid here also with the isolated Kranwagen, no one was able to cover him. The Kranwagen put out 2 shots before dying, apparently also bouncing the 3rd one if he did not die before even being reloaded. But yeah, that was the case here, that the other guys from Raid were just quite far away, did not have any option of putting in some supportive fire to kind of make worth of the dying Kranwagen there. Because of course you would want to shoot the same amount of hit points at least if some of your teammates gets pushed onto. You want to deal an equal amount of damage and gain the better positions at the same time, which is a tricky thing to do, but that would be what was needed here. Okay. I don't know yet what our next game is. Hoping for some good enemy there. We do not have the invite yet, will still take a few minutes. We still have like 1 minute until we get the invite. And then we are ready. Quite a lot of new faces also on the stream today. Although mostly, of course, my the viewers that are always here. Glad to see you also on the tournament stream, not only on the gameplay streams. Yeah, if you're new here and if you're maybe not new here also, don't forget to press that like button if you are enjoying it, and maybe have a look at my other content as well. And yeah, today it is about the tournaments. We will still have another few tournament streams in the PYS before we are getting into the professional tournament, which will be in about a month, as far as I know. And yeah, by then we will know which are the best 8 teams of the European server. Hopefully I'm getting an invite for that tournament as well. We will see. Depends on how these streams are performing. Okay. Still gotta wait a little bit. Only a matter of seconds though. Only a matter of seconds. Okay. I don't know. I could also just have a look at the group. Although I do not know what kind of group I'm following. Wargaming was not really offering too much information there. They kind of threw me into the cold water. I did not get any info what teams we are I was going to stream or whatsoever. But we are with Raid again. The Spanish streamer Robert apparently also streaming this one. Map is Castilla, the camping map. Okay, the camping map for us now. Let's see whether this one is going to be too campy or if we are maybe going to see some action as well. Tesher here, I don't know, Tesher. Oh, that is some impronounceable name. I guess it is a Spanish clan. Yeah, it is a Spanish clan. And also played on a decent level. Although not a top 8 clan, that has to be mentioned. I don't know how they are performing this season. Maybe they regrouped, which happens quite often while the teams are taking a break, and in between the tournaments often the teams are regrouping and find themselves together in new formation with better players, or even taking a break. So it's going to be interesting to see what Tesha is going to do, how well they are going to perform. And this is definitely something that Raid should be capable of handling. Actually, that kind of team with the experience that Raid has on the tournament scene in the previous years already. People are slowly rolling in here. Are we going to see a double griller? Nope. A Sheridan is actually Raid on the north spawn. The Sheridan may be responsible for spotting C, decapping C. Double Sheridan now, or they are going for a quick shootout in the area of the medium side, and they could just double tap a medium and gain a huge advantage by that, or even some TD if they are able to just flank around on the outside of the Castilla, or the Abbey on the medium flank there. On the side of Tesha, we do have a Hori, also a very strong TD, yet not too often taken because of low alpha gun. But it will be a Sheridan also for Tesha. Interesting choice. We don't see the Sheridan too often. I don't know if Raid is being serious about their strat or kind of being relaxed and picking a little bit of random tanks also. Of course, still they do want to win this. So it will be interesting to see what they are going to do here. Triple M60 on the side of Raid. I should pay attention to whether they are using the small or the big gun. Because at the start, when the Yo was introduced, most teams just went for the big gun. Later on, though, many found out that the small gun with a much higher DPM does offer some really good advantages that are non-neglectable, especially in tournaments with a lot of close combat pushes, where DPM can come in really handy. Okay, teams are almost ready here. Triple M60, double Sheridan, VK90, possibly to decap the B cap. and the Grille will stand around somewhere in the back and farm a lot of damage, hopefully. As 1k in the Grille, the player who mostly is seen on the TDs and raid. On Tesha's side, we are seeing a WZ 113 double M6, a Vickers E50M, and a nice 7. Actually, with a double WZ, I would expect them to maybe go for the heavy side, go for a push on C. That's kind of what it looks like, but they might, of course, also go for A. Okay, let's head over to the in-game scene so you can see the minimap a little bit bigger as well. There we go, tank exploding. One Sheridan heading towards the heavy side to go for spots there. Probably taking this hill up here. And the rest of raid mostly heading towards A. Where is he going? Oh, he's going very aggressive actually. Towards the mill. And most of the Tesha team will be found there. And the Grille will be able to put in a lot of shots. Most likely. Or at least one. Rarely seeing the shots flying in. Oh. Everyone spotted here on Tesha's side. Now a push starting. Hate to see. Oh, what happened there? The Vickers on B. Actually, E50M Vickers tried to go for a quick B cap. Yet they got beaten. Ooh, and hit points are being lost here on the side of Tesha. Not really deciding to push in. They have a lot of tanks hesitating, and Tactic Tonito is getting punished on the top here, getting trapped behind this rock. He doesn't really not have anywhere to go. And raid, we are seeing a very strong formation here with all those raid tanks being lined up to farm the Tesha push. And Tesha has already lost, like, I don't know, 5,000 hit points alone for this push, and they have not been able to push in anywhere. Now they have 3 tanks in the front here facing this one M60 who is able to cover behind the house for now. And Tesha will again have to run into the crossfire in order to get them. And there goes the first one. It is the M60 on the hill. That's not where you should stay. On this hill, you often get shot out. Even in randoms. It may work out for a short time, but not for too long. And there goes another guy and another one running into this crossfire here, trying to get raid blue, which is not really possible here because he does have lots of cover from behind. And the E50M here also now being absolutely trapped between Raid Naro, Drizzle and Falcon here. Naros has one shot, yet is not able to kill the E50M because he is now on the reload. Did not have a lot of damage to put out. The Vickers also gets beaten to death there. I think the Grille really put out a lot of damage here. I've seen big shots flying in over and over again, but it was hard to distinguish whether it was the Grille or actually the Sheridan's shooting there. Grille, 3k damage. Not the most damage, but the best damage of the raid team here. Was able to farm a lot. And yeah, the setup here with the WZs was kind of predictable, which was maybe a little bit of a problem here for Tesha. As yeah, it was kind of, or could be kind of expected to see those 113s push the C side, as well as the I7, as those are no fast DPM tanks that are quite often seen in that kind of push for years already on this map. I think with Raid we have done this strat also already in a different manner though. Alright, first match was a clear win to the Raid team. And they are sticking to their lineup, having swapped the Grille for a VK90 though. Tesha on the other side now also going for an autoloader setup. Still going for 2 mediums. Yes, they are picking 2 mediums and a TD. They will have a hit point disadvantage. Although the mediums do have slightly more hit points than the Sheridans, like 400 combined, I believe. But also the 268 does have about 800 hit points less than a heavy tank. So that will be, especially with the VK90s, it should be a hit point advantage to raid from the start on. But Tesha now also with a setup that may really be better than the last one, I believe. With the autoloaders going with a meta. Maybe the 2 mediums, I don't know if they are really necessary here for Tesha. Let's see what they are going to do. Raid OG in his Sheridan, quickly heading towards A. Let's follow him. He will climb up here with this sneaky climb. Yep, there he goes. And he will maybe get in an early shot. On the other side, we are seeing the other Sheridan spotting the C side. Yeah, he's already spotted though. He has to be careful. Ooh, that was maybe not the best peek. He did not manage to connect his shot while taking a huge risk there of taking a lot of shots in return. Messi spotting the C side and most of the raid team on A. But this T22 and the STB are very isolated here. Raid does not know about that yet. And the rest of the Tesha team still in spawn. They were setting up a bait, hoping for Raid to also push the C side. But when does this ever happen? Seriously, this is nothing that pro clans do. If you watch some pro tournaments, then you will see that no pro teams are really going for a C push. Rarely ever. But okay. Tesha was set up quite well for a push onto C, and they would have that one covered. VK90 here getting punished quite a lot for trying to get into the cap. Double M6 shows in the back, being set up for some fire into the VK90 or anyone getting into the A cap. And by that, Tesha has actually gained a hit point advantage, although they have left B to be kept for free. This Kranwagen actually could advance on the C side a little bit now, and together with the other Kranwagen they would have the option to decap B, at least for some time. The Kranwagen here just arriving way too late to really have an impact on the B cap, also being in a worse position when fighting a side scraping VK90. As we can see, the VK90, obviously, it is like the best side scraper in the game. The Kranwagen surely is not. Raid again with a hit point advantage now. Also with a cap advantage, having one base and the base points ticking over for them. Ooh, has to be, but also Messi suffered. Messi suffered. He just received a ton of damage into him. But these mediums here, they are well covered from behind by the 268 on the hill and the double M6 Yos in the corner. But on the other hand, these mediums, they are not able to really hold up anyone. The Sheridan here may be overpeaking a little bit. He should maybe leave that job to the heavies. I mean, the heavies could just push around here on the A side, take the shots from 268 and the Yos, and push up the mediums here for OG to shoot them down. Although it is an unnecessary risk for a raid. If they were at a cap point deficit, they could definitely consider this, because the Yos at a distance and the 268 would most likely not be able to really have an impact there and shoot the raid guys too often, because raid would be able to gain a tank advantage of 2 tanks by this push. but they will be able to do so nonetheless. OG constantly trading with the medium, or is it the 268 even hoping for the 268 to miss him while shooting down the mediums here? And blue now going for the push. T22 and STB been a one shot, been eradicated from the battlefield now. Tactic Tornado still in the corner in his camping. M60 is a little bit covered by the rock here, but Raid has cleared 2 guns, has a 3k or 4k hit point advantage. Messi, though out of a fight, has to be very careful. And Cheshire tries to somehow regain B to not lose on the caps too soon. Although that is clearly going to happen here. There's no way around this. Naro and the VK90 doing a good job of defending B here from multiple different angles. Also with the Sheridan as a backup behind. But Olo, the Kranwagen here on the side of Tesha, flanking into the raid spawn, pushing away the Sheridan. Yet there is nothing that Tesha could still do, having split up their tanks now. 268 got stuck behind another rock on the hill, probably still rated it out to get some extra shots in. But Tesha's strat just relied on taking the advantage by baiting a push here. Yeah, but with the guy in the corner, is anyone still going to die? Messi still going to die, yeah. But yeah, Raid did not feel any temptation to push the seaside here. And that was the only hope of Tesha on this game, which was really not working out too well for them. They soon after rotated over. Oh, we're getting straight into the next game. Vale versus Tesha. It's a lower bracket now. Yeah, finals of the lower bracket. So the winner of this matchup will then get into the grand finals and meet with Raid again. What am I saying again? I would bet on Vale to win this. Although it is not the main Vale team. This is like a secondary team, which is not actively training, to be honest. It is a good team, having some good players on the team as well. Yet these guys are just playing for fun and just hoping to maybe gain some cups for the main team as well. But alright, we are now having Vale's second team here against Tesha, and I think, well, they are both at a similar level here. I have played on the previous PYS with this Vale team as well, but today deciding to rather stream it and yeah, commentate on what is going on there from a different perspective, because that's always a very fascinating and exciting thing to do. And yeah, getting this chance here was also really nice to have. I did not decide to stream all the PYS tournaments, but yeah, at least the later stages were something that I wanted to take part in when streaming here. Okay, we are going to see Fort Despair actually. On this map, often we are seeing like people passively holding the A cap by some TDs, mostly, or not TDs, mostly autoloaders on the TD position, the bushes behind A. In random battles there are TDs usually. In tournaments the autoloaders do pay out much more, or pay off, and they do really work better because they can have a higher damage potential if they manage to clip the whole clip with 3 shots of 900 or 1200 damage respectively, whether it is an M60 or the typical 1200 damage clipper like Kranwagen, which is still used quite a lot. And they do have like 800 hit points more than the TDs. That's why mostly nowadays we are seeing autoloaders on TD positions. If it is not like a very passive TD position that only occasionally puts out a shot like the gorilla position on last game. And most of the rest of the team is mostly then heading towards C to gain the cap advantage, or sometimes we're also seeing like an aggressive B push, which I personally like, to be honest, but I'm not playing. I prefer the B push or C strats. Also, especially in the old meta, we have very often seen tanks heading into the A corner, into the medium corner with some double WZ-113s like we are seeing here. Most likely they are heading into the corner. On the other side, on the side of Tesha, we are also seeing these WZ-113s. And as we've seen already, Tesha mostly playing the old meta a little bit. Not by the tanks necessarily, although on the first game definitely old meta, but also by the tactics. It is not like the current tournament meta that they are playing. They are lacking a little bit behind, I would say. And hoping for, doing something that has worked out in the past. But okay, to be fair, even today we are often still or sometimes still seeing teams go for the A corner on a very high level. So what are the setups actually? Double M6 double or triple M6 double WZ-113, a Vickers, and I think it was a mouse, E100 for Veil here. And on Tesha's side we are seeing an IS-7, double Kran, mouse T22 and double WZ-113. Okay. Rare, oh, somebody's not on the voice chat apparently. So the T22 probably going to get in some spots on this balcony here. And there he goes. He is spotted before that though. Really get in some spots. Actually, the whole Tesha team got spotted. And Veil did not decide to go for the A corner. Oh, the Vickers with an aggressive spot in the middle. Maybe that was... nope, he got away safely. He got away safely. And managed to keep all his vital hit points on the field. The WM6Os, as mentioned already, they are responsible for the A cap. C is, or has been capped quite quickly by Veil, as they did not face anything in front of them. And the Tesha guys were mostly spotted going towards A. A, though, very far in the open. Some trees can be shot down here. A can be capped, yet it is really a tricky and risky thing to do. If there are 3 guys behind, you might lose a ton of hit points for doing that. But we are also seeing a rotation here on the side of Tesha, which is definitely a good thing. They do not seem to not know what to do. Also, they build up some pressure in the corner, but I don't know if that's not maybe a little bit too much. The WZ here, quite aggressive. But yeah, he still has like the double crans to his side, so it would not really be possible for Veil to push him. But on the other hand, it is very easy to just ignore the WZ in the corner, ignore those Kranwagens, ignore the mouse, just counter push C. I mean, that is not really what is going to happen right now, because Veil really wants to make sure to keep the A cap and not give it away for free. But Tesha on the other side has to do a move, and the C cap is definitely what they would want, because they are at a cap disadvantage and they have to push in at some point. But their rotation stopped. Tesha just sitting it out. I don't know, Tesha cannot really expect Vale to push in at this point, because Vale, as mentioned already, does have the advantage cap point wise. Hit points slightly in the favor of Tesha now. Mostly because Valrider took a shot there. I think Vale does have some very good formation here to keep the whole map spotted. Also not really having those tanks too aggressive. Although the 113 and the E100 could certainly get pushed onto. It would maybe be wise to just pull over some more tanks towards C, because C is like the only real option for the Tesha team here. Pushing the A corner is not really anything that Tesha should even consider with all those campers in the back here. Just look at this. It is super hard to penetrate hull down Yos like this. Because I'm a little bit fast here, but it is... Yeah, those guys are rarely even... they can't... First of all, they can't get spotted. And they are not really overextended, so Tesha would have to start the cupolas. And if they were pushing in, they would take a whole clip, 2 whole clips, plus the shots of... Oops. Plus the shots of the Vickers and the 113. Now we are seeing rotation, but already 840 points for Vale. And Tesha is going for desperate push. No, they are trying to get the base. With all the tanks heading into the base. Oh, that's going to be interesting, because it's not going to be possible for Vale to decap all of them. Tesha has gained the cap without even taking any shots for that. And Vale now has to make a move, and that has to happen really quick. And Vale now pushing in. They have to stop the B cap. They have to stop the A cap as well, if it is somehow possible. The T-22 also heading towards C. Interesting move there by Tesha. The one to get focused here, but I don't know if that is going to pay out. This is going to be interesting. And 980 points here on the side of Tesha, and C now capped. We did see the first guy on the side of Tesha to go down. 1,000 points to Vale. 1,000 points to Vale. Okay. How did Vale still win this? How did Tesha still misplay this with the amount of hit points they had? They had the caps. They just needed to not die. But they did not manage to do so. Well played here to Vale. It was a little bit too much in the end to call everything that was going on. There was a push on C with the T-22. There were like people rushing B onto the mouse, which was not really working out. And those guys pushing A, I would have really thought that Vale was not able to turn this one around. That was not really looking too good for Vale anymore, all of a sudden, because of this unexpected capturing of the A base there, of the A cap, with the 5 tanks, and Vale was not even shooting them once while they were staying in the cap. But apparently, yeah, then Vale pushed in from 2 sides, from 2 different sides into B, and Tesha had all their tanks in really bad positions over there. Vale got 2 kills, did not even see them there. It was going really quickly. I was rather focusing on the mouse, because it seemed like it was the only one to be in the open, but someone else got shot down. I really noticed Alpha, what was the name? No, Olo Alpha. He was quite far in the open, and that was a huge problem there for Tesha. If he managed to somehow stay alive a little bit longer, if Tesha was able to keep up focus fire or just sustain their hit points, Vale could have stopped A and B, but they had no one on C anymore. Chieftain now on the side of Vale. Interesting choice, most likely heading towards the middle of the map. Okay. Let's head up. Setup for Tesha, quite similar to the last one. Vale having ditched the Vicars for Chieftain now, but it is heading to the exact same position. Not going to be able to go for a quick spot, but the Chieftain now with the 10 degrees of gun depression does have a really nice position for shooting this whole B area. But, oh, this is going to be a lot of trouble here for Vale. 4 guys rushing into the corner on the side of Tesha. Vale only has 3 tanks here in the corner, getting crossfired by the Kran. Vale has to make a move. They have to somehow support the corner. Another M60 is moving in. That is good. That is really good for Vale. They have to, in the best case, they would have to just push the corner, because the Kranwagen is in the middle of the map. Can't really get shot down that easily. Mouse also not like an easy target. Vale has to push into the corner now, because also the Chieftain is getting farmed from multiple different angles. Vale really has to go into this corner, otherwise those guys will keep farming the middle and will keep farming Valrider, and he would die for nothing. But there we are going to see the push. Heferlamp leading the charge here. Shots bouncing off the WZ-113. But the focus fire is now improving. 113, the preferred target here with a lot of DPM and not a lot of armor nor hit points. There he goes. First tank out on both sides though. But the Yos probably a little bit better in this kind of push. There is still a T-22 on the field, but the T-22 does not really have a ton of hit points. Focus switches to the T-22 and the T-22 is kind of stuck here. He does have nowhere to hide anymore. Masaryk, a one-shot now, there he goes. And only Wider is left in the corner in a 1v3 situation. Valrider also managed to get out alive here from the push into the middle area by Tesha, which happened simultaneously here. But Ninja still able to take out the mouse and still healthy enough to survive for quite a while and waste the very bad DPM of those Kranwagens here. Oh, let's not go that quickly here with the camera. But the E100, of course, the E100 is going to die, but those Kranwagens, yep, there goes the Kranwagen, Valrider, being a one-shot, still able to kill him. Would have been better for Tesha if they were somehow able to ignore the E100 somehow. Anything like that. Anything like that would have maybe increased their chances. Killing this E100 just took them a long time here. Well played to Vale. This push into the corner really came just a tad too late, because the Chieftain really got shot into pieces just before Vale even considered a move. They were still trying to shoot a hull down Kranwagen there, which was, yeah, not an easy target for all of them. We're just heading into the next room. Kranwagen was not a possible target for all of them, but there were 3 to 4 guys occupied with a possible shots onto this Kran's turret into the cupolas, which they clearly did not really hit there. While in the middle there was a Chieftain, which could get pushed onto. Valrider did a really good job of getting out of this. But yeah, it would have been possible for Vale to get into the push in the corner a little bit earlier, to not have their Kranwagen or their Chieftain suffer that much. But now we are in the grand finals of the upper bracket. Vale did advance to the next stage. With Fujit also on the team, by the way, he is also live right now with a point of view stream. He planned to go for a tournament stream, but helped out on the Vale clan then. And now we're seeing WoT versus Vale's second team. Judging by the way that Vale played so far, they definitely do have a chance. They do have a chance, although winning against a well-trained clan or team like WoT would really be quite difficult and require some luck, of course, also. But Vale not performing badly so far. Really not performing badly. Next map, by the way, is going to be Desert Sands. Ooh, Desert Sands will probably be a little bit better for a raid here. Why I'm saying that is because Desert Sands... If you're going for the desert, which is like mostly the better thing to do, it will end in a massive brawl where focus fire will be everything. And focus fire is something you don't learn in randoms, although we do have some good tournament players here on Vale's team. They are not as well trained as Raid's clan, but yet still Raid going for a setup that looks like a city setup actually, with a 113s, but also Vale, double E100s, all those Kranwagens on the field here, quadruple Kranwagen, not Kranwagen, M6 and another Kranwagen. No, not a double E100, but I guess it will be one. But also interestingly, Raid going for an E100. This E100 most likely being taken for pre-aiming the B area whenever there is someone crossing through the bridge or below the bridge, beneath the bridge. That is something we are seeing quite often in tournaments, but people switch to pre-aiming this spot rather than heading through it. But yeah, actually, like the double crowns most likely to be found somewhere in the back, holding up the rails maybe, with the rest of the Vale team, the M6 heading towards C. That's what I would expect. Of course, they could go to the outside, but they do not have any mediums or light tanks, so they are probably not heading towards the desert area, but one of them will spawn on the outside. One of the Vale's team, one of their heavies, is going to spawn on the medium spawn because they're having that many heavies. The Vickers will be aware of that, and he will go for a very aggressive spot and try to spot this heavy crossing over to the heavy side. And if Vale is not careful, they might lose a tank for free or lose a lot of hit points already. Otherwise, they will maybe just hold in the back in the desert area, which could lead to offering a weak spot for the Raid team to push onto. An interesting choice with the WZ 113s here. Would not have expected them on this map, to be honest. In the desert, they are not suited too well because they don't have gun depression. Well, let's see. I would assume still the Raid is going for the desert area and leaving like 2 tanks here or 3 tanks. It's the 113s actually going towards the middle. Maybe they're just pushing through. We're seeing E100 spawned outside. Oh, that's very unfortunate. The Vickers here going super aggressive to get in the spot. E100 is spotted, showing his back to the enemy. He is already turning and losing a ton of hit points, getting tracked as well. That could not start any worse for Vale here. having the E100, the only real city tank in the desert. But Tatakai here going for a very aggressive push onto the 113s, and Fujit is going to follow up, not placing all the shots though. That was maybe a little bit too aggressive here by the M6 here, but S1K probably not being able to survive this. Really well done here on this push. Great Blue also now very isolated in the front. He does have some backup from the flanks though, but he might get shot into pieces very soon if Vale is going into this. But also Raid is set up for counter pushing this area with the E100 and Kranwagen in the back of Vale, still being a little bit too far out of the fight, maybe with the Raids guys also already being very close here and heading into this massive browse with their clips loaded. Cristiano here, or Cuado is his old name. Now the only one left in the middle are those guys in the back here. Still too far out of the fight in order to support with the necessary focus fire that would have been better for the win, or would have been needed for the win. Unlucky for Vale really that they had their E100 spawned outside. But also they were just being a little bit careless, still trying to send it into the city. With the Raid immediately taking note of this advantage, sending the Vickers super aggressive for the spots there. Oh, that E100, that did not have a good game. Not a good game for the E100 here. And I'm even on a heavy tank. I mean, I even switched to the mouse so that no other heavy would spawn outside. Did not help. Okay, but I'm also on the side of Raid now. So if I switch to a medium tank, could be that like another heavy would spawn in the city area. Just to make you aware of the impact there of the spectators tank, because there's like a number of options where tanks can spawn. That's like, I think we do have 7 on the team, so 9 plus 2 spectators are possible, so 9 spawns per side. There are only like 5 or 6, I think 5 spawns on the heavy side. Should be it. I don't know for sure how this exactly works, but okay. Okay, that was a strong performance by Raid. Vale they tried really to make use of their, or somehow, yeah, get rid of their disadvantage, and they did go for the push into the 113s, which worked out quite well for a moment, but then they got pushed as well. Vale having now double 50Bs on the field. Interesting choice, because they are certainly not able to hold up a lot of shots. But the AMX 50Bs probably heading towards the city area, maybe also pre-aiming the bridge in the middle, or just pushing the seaside, which we have not seen only once with that kind of setup. Let's move a little bit faster. Vickers now only one in the desert area for Vale. Most of the Vale team heading towards the rails here. First shots flying in. Oh, the Vickers. The Vickers. Oh, I don't know. I don't think he is spotted. Those were blind shots, actually. Because he just crossed over there when all the Raid team was expecting to shoot the Kran. They got the Vickers. Unfortunate start here. Messi, the only one in the desert, having the option to go very aggressive again, getting in the spots here on the hills without really overextending. Does not want to get into the spawn of Vale, because that's where and they could easily counter push him. But now we are having 5 tanks here, being a little bit trapped. But the AMX 50Bs are getting pushed onto. They do not know about this yet. Oh, no. The raid team is spotted, but the 50Bs are trapped here. They can't get out of this. And they are getting focused. They are getting focused so hard. They are trapped here. Absolutely. There flies the turret. Cristiano, the next one to go down very soon. He won't survive much longer. But also Vale having set up some good crossfire here in order to support or punish this push onto the 50Bs. But it did not really pay off here. The E100 being quite low now. But Raid having 2 caps against none, having a strong hit point advantage, also having a huge gun advantage already by about 3 tanks. Okay, Vale really suffering on this game here. Tatakai, next one to die, having no chance to survive any longer. And Fujit is the last man standing. Not for long, though. There he goes. Well, the 50Bs kind of isolated there, stayed behind C. Not quite sure where to go, apparently. That looked like Vale was quite a lot struggling with what to do on this one. Having the Vickers lose that many hit points early on. Then having the very passive formation in the back. Basically all the tanks in the spawn except for the 50Bs that were isolated at the front. And Raid just... They did not hesitate. They went for a full YOLO push, hoping to find some isolated tanks, and they did. They did only know about their advantage when it came to the hit points, because they did some good trades early on. But yeah, Vale here suffering a little bit. But it is mostly actually, although we are also all glad to see Vale on this tournament and also Tesha. But as mentioned already, this is the Vale second team. And we are most interested in seeing those top 8 teams, and yeah, also seeing Raid's performance again, since Raid has not made it into the top 8 in the previous seasons. I think the last 3 seasons they dropped out of top 8 after dominating the top 4 for a long time already. For years they were in the top 4. One Twister 2017 or 18, and then they dropped out of top 8 for 3 seasons in a row, struggling to find the players and keep up the training there. But now they are looking strong. They're looking strong with the new seeding for the tournaments as well, where the the tier 10 win rate will be rated, or it is now only about the tier 10 win rate if you do have more than 1000 battles. That's not a lot, so rerolls will still be at an advantage, but the older players do not really suffer too much from that. No 100% accounts and the like anymore. And it's not that easy to rig this system anymore as it's been before. Although we are still seeing, like, I don't know, 10, 11 fake clans, fake teams from APA, but okay, let's not talk about that today. The games here, only a first taste of what is awaiting us in the next stages. Tomorrow, grand final, where I think we had like 4 groups, and the top 2 of each group will advance to the final stage on the 3rd day, which is tomorrow. So Vale will also be in with the second clan, with the second team, will also still be in the final stage tomorrow, but Raid definitely is, and it will be about the cups for Raid as well. This is, by the way, this is the first game for today. I'm still going to, I don't know, I don't think I really have to overanalyze the last battles there anymore, because they were quite doomed at the start already. And let's quickly have a look at the rankings still. They can be found on the on the World of Tanks official website. Let's see whether I can quickly find the ranking here. Good. I do have to go for the Hall of Fame, I guess. Let's head over to the desktop real quick and see top echelon. It is the second out of 4 PYS or qualification tournaments before the professional tournament is going to start. Raid currently number 7, Vale number 6. I think partially because there are 2 teams on Vale that are collecting cups. I think Raid is undefeated so far. But endgame dominating clearly again. It's been like this for the past years, I believe. Endgame on first place, not having... Wait, what is this again? They have won 90% of their games today, 80% yesterday, but still the final result is only counted for the cups, and apparently they won all of the games. Yeah, Loka having won the last season on the second place. This time BPS, no, BPS has won the last season. Loka was before. BPS has won the last one. BPS now on third place, but so far this ranking is not too relevant. Jones also having, they started into the last season, they did get the 4th or 5th place. They were doing a really strong performance, although they were a really new team, newly formatted, or formatted? They were a new team under new formation, and they really showed some strong performances. I will be excited to see more of what Jones does here, how far they get this time. Immor having also really strong team with some NA players and some EU players combined, and also some of those have been playing on another BPS team before, so I know some of those guys. But it will be trickier for Immor, I guess, because they are a new team. Vale also having quite a new team, even on the first team now. Aini has been in top 8 already as well, but also Aini not having the most top-notch performance or experience on their team. So I guess Aini will probably stick around in the 7th or 8th place. So will be Vale, in my honest opinion. But the top 4 is definitely going to be interesting, and Raid, having shown a strong performance today, will be interesting to see how they will perform against the top 4 clans and whether they can regain their high ranking that they've once had. The only German tournament clan at a high level. And I think the others are all internationals. Jones has been Spanish at the start, but no, all the other clans are completely international European clans. Alright, it's still going to be interesting to see what this is going to bring us. By the way, let's head over there. Cups, so far it's the second tournament, so the cups are also quite close. APA might actually also still get into the top 8. They are quite close to Aini. And they have their first team has not been too bad in the last seasons. But they are on 9th place now, although having tons of fake teams in the tournament does not really help them so far. We will see. We will see. Top 8 the top 8 tournament, professional tournament, will be in about a month, as mentioned already. Or not even a month, I think. At the end of this month it will start already. But okay, guys, let's end here for today. Tomorrow we will see another tournament stream. Tomorrow, the grand final of this PYS, of this Prove Your Skill tournament, which is only the second of 4 qualification tournaments, again, of the professional tournament. So tomorrow, final stage there with the Rage again, and the Veil team, at least one of the Veil teams is going to play, and best of 5 tomorrow. So that's also a little bit more interesting, a little bit more exciting again. Better teams, closer games. That's what I would hope for. I hope you enjoyed these games today, although the skill difference was quite noticeable on some of these. But yeah, I hope I could still make them a little bit interesting to you. If so, don't forget to hit the like button before you leave. Thanks for watching to all of you. I might still go for a late night session. Late night stream, just some random gameplay, having some fun on the game, and a few, like, yeah, what do I say? In half an hour, let's take a break. I will announce it on Discord, and then I will also go live here. So if you do want to see me play some random battles still, feel free to join in later on. Otherwise, enjoy your evening, enjoy your day, whatever time it is for you, and see you tomorrow then on the next tournament stream from me. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you soon.